Happiness is a universal concept that has intrigued and inspired humanity throughout history, shaping philosophy, culture, and society. From ancient philosophical musings to modern scientific studies, the quest to define and achieve happiness has been a central theme in human life. The ancient Greeks viewed happiness as an essential goal of human existence. In contrast, Eastern philosophies such as Buddhism have long taught that happiness comes from within, emphasizing mindfulness and detachment from desires. Through the ages, the Enlightenment brought a shift toward individual rights and the pursuit of happiness as a fundamental aspect of personal freedom. In modern times, happiness is often pursued through material success, personal fulfillment, and well-being. This evolving understanding of happiness reflects our enduring desire to understand and attain it, making it a timeless subject of exploration across disciplines and cultures. In this video essay, we will explore how the concept and importance of happiness evolved throughout history in order to understand what it means to be truly happy in modern society. In the Western world, capitalism profoundly influences societal perceptions of happiness, often linking it to consumerism and material wealth. This shaping of happiness benefits the capitalist structure by promoting consumption and economic growth. But how can we filter our current understanding of happiness to determine what this term actually represents in a profound sense and what is merely constructed as a way to keep people engaged and the system running? The media often incentivizes equating happiness with material possessions and consumption. Advertising and marketing campaigns promote the idea that buying goods and services will lead to happiness, satisfaction, and success. Owning certain products or achieving financial success is often portrayed as an indicator of personal success and happiness, creating a social norm where people strive for wealth and possessions as a primary source of happiness. Advertising plays a significant role in shaping desires and aspirations, suggesting that acquiring new products will lead to a better, happier life. Social media often portrays idealized lifestyles filled with luxury and comfort, reinforcing the notion that happiness is attainable through consumer choices and spending. More recently, social media has also heightened the focus on short-term pleasure and instant gratification, where immediate pleasures from buying and consuming are prioritized over long-term contentment and fulfillment. The emphasis on newness and disposability fosters a cycle of continuous consumption, leading individuals to seek short-lived happiness in new purchases. With this need for consumerism and instant gratification incentivized, work becomes a central aspect of life in Western societies. It is often viewed as a means to earn money for consumption. Happiness is tied to job success, promotions, and salary increases. Personal worth and happiness are frequently linked to productivity and economic contributions, leading to a culture where people define themselves by their work and economic status. Evidently, our understanding of an abstract concept such as happiness is influenced by the context we are inserted into. But is there a way to find an absolute meaning to this word? To explore this question, let's examine what other societies and periods of time would tell us about this concept. In ancient Mesopotamia, happiness was closely tied to the favor of the gods and the social order. Mesopotamians believed that the gods had a significant influence on human affairs and that happiness could be achieved through piety, obedience to the gods, and maintaining harmony within society. Texts such as the Epic of Gilgamesh explore themes of friendship, the search for immortality, and the balance between human desires and divine will. For the ancient Egyptians, happiness was linked to the concept of Mahat, which represented truth, balance, order, and justice. Living in accordance with Mahat was believed to lead to a harmonious life and a favorable judgment in the afterlife. Egyptians also valued family, community, and the afterlife, emphasizing that happiness was not only a worldly experience but also a spiritual one. Egyptians believed that true happiness could be achieved in the afterlife if one led a virtuous life. The idea of living an eternal, blissful life after death was a significant motivator for living righteously, which is very familiar to Christian-based societies. In ancient Hebrew culture, happiness was seen as a blessing from God and was often associated with living a life in accordance with divine commandments. The Hebrew Bible, Old Testament, contains numerous references to joy and contentment as rewards for faithfulness and righteousness. All three cultures emphasize the importance of living in accordance with divine principles or cosmic orders to achieve happiness. These societies shared the belief that true happiness was not only a worldly experience, but also deeply spiritual, often associated with moral virtue, piety, and the hope of eternal bliss in the afterlife. This reflects a common understanding that happiness involves aligning one's life with higher moral and spiritual laws, highlighting a universal human desire for harmony, righteousness, and transcendence beyond the material world. These concepts were further explored by ancient Greek philosophers, deeply engaged in understanding what it meant to live a good life and achieve happiness. Ancient Greek philosophers offered diverse insights into the concept of happiness. This topic was extensively explored back then, and it evolved with the contribution of many different philosophers. Starting chronologically with Socrates, he believed that happiness is intrinsically linked to virtue and the pursuit of knowledge. He argued that true happiness comes from living a life of virtue, characterized by wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. For Socrates, the unexamined life is not worth living, suggesting that self-reflection and philosophical inquiry are crucial to achieving happiness. He emphasized the importance of moral integrity and living in accordance with one's principles. Socrates famously believed that no one knowingly does wrong and that wrongdoing is a result of ignorance. Plato, a student of Socrates, expanded on his teacher's ideas. For him, happiness is linked to the soul's ability to access higher knowledge and truths beyond the physical world. In The Republic, Plato describes the tripartite nature of the soul, consisting of the rational, spirited, and appetitive parts. According to Plato, happiness is achieved when these three parts are in harmony, with reason governing the soul, leading to justice both within the individual and society. Aristotle defined happiness as eudaimonia, which he considered the highest good and the ultimate aim of human life. He argued that happiness is achieved through living a life of virtue, fulfilling one's potential, and practicing rationality. Aristotle introduced the doctrine of the mean, which posits that virtue lies between two extremes of excess and deficiency. For example, courage is the mean between recklessness and cowardice. Living virtuously, according to Aristotle, involves finding this balance in all aspects of life. He emphasized the importance of practical wisdom, phronesis, in making ethical decisions that lead to happiness and believed that cultivating virtues through habit and reason would lead to a flourishing life. Aristotle also highlighted the social nature of humans and the importance of friendships and community in achieving happiness, arguing that a good life is one that is lived in accordance with virtue and is socially engaged. Talking more specifically about some schools of thought for the Greeks, Stoicism teaches that happiness is achieved by living in harmony with nature and accepting what is beyond one's control. Stoics believe that virtue is the only true good and that external circumstances do not determine happiness. They emphasize the cultivation of virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline, advocating for developing inner resilience to external events and maintaining that our reactions to these events are within our control. Stoicism promotes the attainment of apatheia, a state of equanimity and emotional tranquility, by detaching from destructive emotions and focusing on rational thought. When it comes to cynicism, it offered a radical critique of societal norms and materialism. Cynics believed that true happiness comes from living a life free from societal conventions and material possessions. They advocated for asceticism and self-sufficiency, emphasizing the importance of virtue over wealth and status. Cynics argued for a return to a natural way of living, rejecting the artificiality and corruption of society. They believed that happiness is achieved by living in accordance with nature and embracing simplicity, challenging people to question their values and priorities. The contrast with these more modern and Western ideas is self-evident. Ancient Greek philosophers saw happiness as intrinsically linked to virtue, wisdom, and the pursuit of a well-balanced life. They emphasized moral integrity, self-reflection, and community engagement as essential components of true happiness. On the other hand, modern capitalism often equates happiness with material wealth, consumption, and individual success. The capitalist system promotes consumerism and the pursuit of instant gratification, suggesting that acquiring goods and achieving financial success will lead to happiness. This emphasis on external achievements can lead to stress and dissatisfaction, as it often overlooks the intrinsic values and communal aspects that the Greek philosophers championed. While capitalism offers economic growth and innovation, it can create a sense of emptiness if happiness is solely defined by material success. But what other parts of the world could teach us about this topic? Eastern philosophies offer a rich perspective on the concept of happiness, often emphasizing inner peace, balance, and harmony with the universe. Unlike many Western philosophies that may focus on individual achievement or material success, Eastern thought often prioritizes spiritual growth, mindfulness, and the interconnectedness of all beings. Buddhism. In Buddhism, happiness is understood in the context of overcoming suffering, which is seen as an inherent part of life. The Buddha taught that suffering arises from desire, attachment, and ignorance, and happiness is achieved by following the Four Noble Truths in the Eightfold Path. The Four Noble Truths outline the nature of suffering and the path to liberation from it, emphasizing that true happiness comes from understanding the impermanent nature of reality and letting go of attachments. The Eightfold Path offers a practical guide to ethical and mental development, promoting right understanding, intention, speech, action, livelihood, effort, mindfulness, and concentration. The ultimate goal in Buddhism is achieving nirvana, a state of liberation and freedom from the cycle of birth and rebirth, samsara. Nirvana is characterized by profound peace, compassion, and wisdom, representing the cessation of suffering and the attainment of ultimate happiness. Hinduism. In Hindu philosophy, happiness is often explored through the framework of the four aims of human life: dharma, duty, righteousness; artha, wealth, prosperity; kama, pleasure, desires; and moksha, liberation, spiritual freedom. True happiness is seen as achieving a balance between these four aims, with moksha being the ultimate goal. Moksha represents liberation from the cycle of rebirth and union with the divine, resulting in eternal bliss and happiness. Happiness is also associated with realizing one's true nature and understanding the self part of the universal consciousness. This realization leads to inner peace and freedom from the illusions of the material world. Taoism. In Taoism, happiness is achieved by living in harmony with the Tao, or Tao, the fundamental principle that underlies the universe. The Tao is seen as the natural order of things, and happiness comes from aligning oneself with this order and flowing with the natural rhythms of life. Taoist philosophy emphasizes simplicity, spontaneity, and humility as paths to happiness. By letting go of rigid expectations and embracing the natural flow of life, individuals can find peace and contentment. Taoism highlights the importance of balance, particularly through the concept of yin-yang, the complementary forces that create harmony in the universe. Happiness arises from maintaining balance between these forces, recognizing that both light and dark, action and rest are necessary for a fulfilling life. Eastern and Western philosophies offer contrasting perspectives on happiness. Western philosophies, such as those of Aristotle and existentialists, focus on personal virtue, ethics, and individual autonomy, often viewing happiness as a result of self-fulfillment. In contrast, Eastern philosophies stress inner peace, balance, and the transcendence of the ego, viewing happiness as a spiritual journey toward enlightenment and harmony with the universe. From a psychological perspective, happiness is a multifaceted emotional state that encompasses positive emotions, life satisfaction, and a sense of meaning or purpose. It involves both hedonic and eudaimonic aspects, experiencing pleasure and joy as well as achieving a meaningful, purposeful life. Emotional well-being is characterized by the presence of positive emotions and the absence of negative ones, while life satisfaction is a cognitive evaluation of one's life as a whole. Factors that contribute to happiness include genetic predispositions, life circumstances such as income and relationships, and intentional activities like exercise and practicing gratitude. Although genetics play a significant role, accounting for up to 50% of individual differences in happiness, how people choose to spend their time and engage with the world can significantly enhance their happiness. Psychological theories like positive psychology and self-determination offer frameworks for understanding and fostering happiness. Positive psychology emphasizes strengths and virtues, while Martin Seligman's PERMA model outlines 5 elements essential to well-being: positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. Self-determination theory highlights the importance of fulfilling basic psychological needs, autonomy, competence, and relatedness to achieve happiness. Research shows that happiness is linked to numerous benefits, including better mental health, improved physical health, and enhanced social relationships. By focusing on activities that promote well-being and fostering positive connections, individuals can cultivate lasting happiness and resilience. From a neuroscience perspective, happiness is understood as a complex interplay of brain structures, neurotransmitters, and neural pathways. The brain's reward system, primarily involving the limbic system, plays a crucial role in the experience of happiness. Neurotransmitters such as dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins are key chemicals that contribute to feelings of pleasure, well-being, and happiness. Dopamine, often referred to as the feel-good neurotransmitter, is associated with reward and motivation, driving behaviors that lead to pleasurable outcomes. Serotonin helps regulate mood and is linked to feelings of contentment and satisfaction, while endorphins are natural painkillers that produce euphoria during physical activities like exercise. The consumeristic view of happiness primarily affects the brain's reward system. This system, which involves the release of dopamine, is activated when people anticipate or acquire new products. The rush of dopamine creates feelings of excitement and satisfaction, reinforcing consumer behaviors and fostering a cycle of short-term gratification. However, frequent stimulation of this reward system can lead to desensitization, where the brain requires more frequent or significant purchases to achieve the same level of satisfaction. This is similar to the development of tolerance seen with addictive substances and can result in habitual consumeristic behavior that prioritizes immediate pleasure over long-term well-being. Consumerism also influences emotional regulation and decision-making processes in the brain. Relying on material possessions for happiness can reduce emotional resilience and increase anxiety and stress, activating the brain's stress response systems and leading to elevated cortisol levels. Over time, this can negatively impact brain health and emotional well-being. Moreover, the emphasis on consumeristic goals can impair decision-making by overwhelming the brain's prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for rational thinking and impulse control. This can lead to impulsive purchasing decisions and diminished self-control, as individuals become conditioned to seek immediate gratification rather than considering long-term outcomes. Additionally, the consumeristic view of happiness fosters social comparison and affects self-esteem. This worldview encourages individuals to measure their worth against others based on material possessions and social status, activating brain regions involved in social judgment. Such comparisons can lead to feelings of inadequacy and low self-worth, creating a feedback loop where decreased self-esteem fuels further consumeristic behavior in an attempt to compensate. Understanding these neurological impacts can help individuals find more sustainable sources of happiness by prioritizing intrinsic fulfillment, meaningful connections, and activities that promote mindfulness and emotional resilience, counteracting the negative effects of consumerism on the brain. In conclusion, to truly understand and achieve happiness in modern society, it may be interesting to cultivate a more multifaceted understanding of the term by integrating insights from these diverse perspectives. Rather than solely relying on material possessions and external achievements, we should emphasize intrinsic values, personal growth, and meaningful relationships. Practices such as mindfulness, Meditation and community engagement can foster well-being and resilience. By aligning our lives with principles of virtue and balance, we can cultivate a more fulfilling and sustainable sense of happiness. As we navigate the complexities of modern life, let us challenge the current narrative of what it means to be happy. This is an invitation to reflect on our values, question societal norms, and prioritize experiences that promote true well-being. Let us embrace the wisdom of ancient philosophies, leverage modern scientific insights, and commit to living a life that aligns with our authentic selves.